We all
Sorry.
set?
Yeah, just a couple minutes early, but we're all here.
We are. Honored to have Captain Acre here. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the June 6, 2019 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Bill Rippon, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning.
Good morning.
First item of business, please.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
There were 2 items on the consent agenda. Are there questions or comments?
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
I have got the wrong voucher paid. Okay, all right. Under Building and Maintenance Equipment Fund, Best Litter Receptacles Incorporated totaling $15,840. It's for trash cans for several parks. Under County Project, Protection Shelters LLC, $39,500 is for storm shelters at the BARDA Training Complex. Under Equipment Fund, Jamestown Advanced Products Corp. totaling $15,376 is for picnic tables at various parks. The under-through Kelly Construction Incorporated, $248,699 is for the East Topeka Learning Center. Total vouchers as of June 5th, 2019 is $1,115,447.39. With that, I move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Administrative Services number 1. Oh, I'm sorry, let me back up. I did that because we don't have any correction orders. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
So there is no number 2 under A.
Okay.
Now, Administrative Services, item B. Number 1, consider approval of request to award bids for printing services and authorization and execution of the following contracts. C 197-2019 with Kalos to provide generic stock letterhead and window envelopes, excluding this peel and seal envelopes. B, contract C 198-2019 with Mainline Printing to provide peel and seal envelopes. Mainline charges a $10 setup fee for the first-time orders only. C, contract C 199-2019 with Hall Commercial Printing to provide white Gilcrest envelopes. And D, contract C 200-2019 with Caw Valley Printing to provide business cards. Caw Valley charges a $4.50 setup fee on the first-time orders only.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Sauer with Administrative Services. This was just a refresh of some existing stationary type contracts that we had that hadn't been out for bid since 2016, so we went out. Most of the pricing was very competitive. We did have to change vendors for our business cards, so this is a new vendor for us for business cards, but we're excited to try someone new.
Very good. Questions for Jennifer?
I don't have any. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Jennifer. Next item, please.
Item C, Human Resources, number 1, consider approval of Resolution 2019-34, adopting the lactation policy, which will become part of the HR policy manual.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. Shawnee County has always been friendly to new mothers and nursing. This just formalizes our policies, puts them in writing and in the policy handbook. It formalizes the fact that we give reasonable time for milk expression, a private area for the expression, and outlines the employer and employee responsibilities.
Okay,
Be happy to answer any questions.
thank you. I'll move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. Next item, please.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for quotations for the purchase of 2,000 pounds of crushed stone to be used in chip seals from Mid-States Materials at a cost of $30,700, with funding being fully reimbursed by the Monmouth Township Roadway Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Neos, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste. Yes, this material, the write-up on the agenda talked about 2,000 pounds. It's 2,000 tons. This material is used by Monmouth Township. A slight difference.
Well, I knew we were having tariff issues. But let the record reflect that it's 2,000 tons. Thank you. Sorry.
No, that's all right. This material is going to be used for chip seals in Monmouth Township. We received 2 bids. The difference in the bids was $800. We were going to go with the higher bid because we're working in extreme southeast Shawnee County, Monmouth Township, and we felt like the Lecompton source would be easier to get to and transport material from. So with that, any questions?
Any questions for Kurt this morning?
I have none.
None.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item D2, consider approval of request to fill a road maintenance position in District 2 at a salary including benefits of $43,658.48, and fill any position that becomes vacant as a result of filling this one.
Kurt Nehouse, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste again. Yes, we have a vacancy in District 2. This vacancy is a resignation where the individual went to a different employer. We asked that this position be filled, and the reason for that is with, for example, I'm going to talk about our Southeast 45th Street mill and inlay that we just recently completed. We basically use all road maintenance staff on projects like that, so it's important to have full staff available for those type of projects. Questions?
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 Move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kurt. Next item, please.
Item E, Health Department. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-211-2019 Memorandum of Understanding with Pediatric Associates of Topeka, LLC for record abstraction by the Fetal Infant Mortality Review Program with no cost to the county.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Before you today is a request to enter into a contract with Pediatric Associates of Topeka. This contract will allow for record abstraction from their practice in the event that any of the infants we receive for the Fetal Infant Mortality Review Program should be seen at their practice. I'd like to take just a few minutes to review what FEMR is and some of the information that we've learned here in our community. Get all my papers here. So just as a reminder, we received our first Fetal Infant Mortality Review grant back in 2013. We were able to start record abstractions back in 2015. So we're in the midst of our 5th year of doing those record abstractions here. Just some general information about infant mortality. So infant mortality is defined as the death of a child less than 1 year old. The fetal mortality refers to either a stillbirth or a fetal death that occurs after 20 weeks gestation. And then the infant mortality rate is calculated based on the number of deaths of children that are less than 1 year of age per 1,000 live births here in our community. The FEMR process very much looks like a quality improvement cycle. So we gather the data from the record abstractions. We gather any and all data that we have that was related to the pregnancy, to the labor, the delivery, and then if the child did go home and was seen at the pediatrician's office, all of that. From there, it goes to the case review team. The case review team is an invite-only table here in our community. We have many doctors that serve on that. We've got pediatricians, obstetricians, neonatologists. We have social workers. We have pastors, really a wide group of people that serve on that. They review the cases, typically once a month, and see if there's anything that they can come out of those cases that might be a recommendation of something that maybe would have prevented the death from occurring. From there, it goes into community action. Our community action team is known as Heartland, or Healthy Babies in our community, and that serves under the Heartland Healthy Neighborhoods umbrella. They take the recommendations typically once a year, look at those recommendations and see what, if any, they're able to work on and begin work on those. Some are easier, some are more challenging. And then we review the changes that got made in our community to see if they were effective or not. Some information about specific information here in our county. The most recent statistics from KDHE are for the years 2013 through 2017. They always do a 5-year rolling average just due to in a given year there can be a great spike that could really change our infant mortality or a decrease. So the most current data is our infant mortality rate sets at 7.8. We had 88 infant deaths during that 5-year period. We are one of 4 Kansas counties with the highest number of infant deaths. The other 3 counties are Sedgwick, Johnson, and Wyandotte. However, those strongly correlate to the higher population and the higher number of births also. So altogether, the 4 counties, we represent just over half of all the infant deaths that occur here in Kansas, and it's 7.6% is what it breaks down to. So things that we've learned here in our community. The thing I always like to reiterate is we've learned that infant mortality remains complex. It's not a clear-cut issue. If it was, we would have solved it a long time ago. There's lots of root causes that we have to get down to the bottom of. One of those we know is still a racial disparity. Our African-American babies are still dying, not only here in our community, but our state and our nation at a greater rate than our white children. So other things we learned is there's always going to be congenital anomalies. So these are babies that are born with genetic defects that even though the great medical technology that we have today, these babies, there's always going to be the outcome of death with some of these cases, and there's simply nothing that can be done. Other things that we've learned that are a little more relevant to our community, we continue to learn that mental health plays a factor in a lot of these cases. So we're still working on trying to get a postpartum support group set up, and also looking at how can pregnant women have expedited services here in our community and not have to have such a long wait to get into these services. Safe sleep remains also a problem here in our community, we know, as far as safe sleep environment. We've been doing the community baby shower for safe sleep on an annual basis. Last fall saw our highest number of 99 women attending that. We've made the decision that we're going to be doing that twice a year now. We're also going to be doing one in the spring. So it's great if we have the resources to be able to provide these women and their caregivers with a safe place to sleep their baby, but more importantly, we want to provide them with the education about what a safe sleep environment looks like for their baby. Other things we're looking at are school districts. We know we do have pregnant and parenting teens, and so one of the recommendations was to look at that, what the school districts are doing and how we can maybe better utilize some of our community resources for these families. And we've had some initial contacts with the school districts and are looking to do a bigger meeting with them. And then we've also got a focus that's really talking about either a preconception or interconception period. And we're working on developing a toolkit. What we see is the recommended time period from the time a baby is born until mom gets pregnant again is 18 months. And a lot of times we don't see that much of a time gap. So really stressing the importance to these women of waiting between their babies, so in the hopes that it will lead to a better pregnancy outcome. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions about FEMA or the specific contracts.
I have one question. We've got 5 years of data there. Do we have trending? Are we making progress? How are we doing?
Sure. What I can tell you is that this new set of data from 13 to 17 did see our infant mortality rate go up from the previous 5 years. And what that typically tells us is that we lost what was probably, quote unquote, a better year, and we gained what was maybe a worse year, and we had more infant deaths. So more than likely, 2012, we saw less infant deaths. In 2017, we probably saw more, is what my gut inclination tells me on that.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
But isn't it important to note, and maybe for those that are paying attention, that this is a very complex issue, that there's just not one root cause. And so we can't just pinpoint one factor as being the reason for any change.
Absolutely, yes.
And so it's a totality of all the circumstances, genetics, social determinants, mental health, that factor into this.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Commissioner.
How do we look across the nation, though? Are we average or above average?
I can tell you the Kansas, or the Healthy People 2020 goal for the nation is 6.0. So we've got some work to do still here in our community.
Well, that's why we're gathering data, so we can take action.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think it's important that we report the action we're taking.
Yes.
And hopefully see the results that we want to
Yes.
see.
And of course, just so, as with this is our most recent data, and of course, we're 2 years on down the road from now. So some of the work that this Healthy Babies group has done is not going to be seen until years down the road with the data from the state.
Okay, very good. I'll move to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 212-2019, amendment 1 to contract C 176-2018 with Kansas Department of Health and Environment, Division of Health Care Finance, to provide outreach, prevention, and early intervention services through the Shawnee County Health Department for grant funding in the amount of $549,300 with dollar-for-dollar matching funds from the Early Childhood Block Grant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Before you today is a request to enter into Amendment 1 with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment to provide home visitation services in our community. This was a new contract that was written last year. This is a contract that we've had for many years. There's 2 programs that benefit from this funding. One is the Nurse Family Partnership, which is housed at the Health Department. The other is Healthy Families, which is housed through the Kansas Children's Service League. And a subsequent contract will be coming forth with them upon approval of this. I've also extended an invitation to them to hopefully join me for that presentation so you can learn a little bit more about their services. The Early Childhood Block Grant is what we use to match these Medicaid match funds, and that money is private through the Kansas Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund and is a portion of the tobacco settlement money. So again, I'd like to take just a couple minutes to remind you and share the information with everyone about Nurse Family Partnership and also just about what early childhood interventions look like here in our community. Excuse me, and why they're so important. So the Nurse Family Partnership Program was developed by Dr. David Olds, and he's the one who developed it and found this concept of this magic window and the power of early intervention, and that's really what the whole Nurse Family Partnership Program focuses on. Early learning, we know, you guys have heard before, but I love to say it again, that research has told us that the first 3 years of a child's life are the most important. This is when so much of the critical development happens. We also know that the relationships and experiences that they have during those years are what also greatly influences how the brain works. This, to me, is a part of kindergarten readiness. We've heard lots about that in the Momentum 2022. For me, kindergarten readiness starts at pregnancy and it continues throughout until that child walks into the doors for kindergarten. Other things that we've learned is we know that adversity can lead to lifelong problems. We know that early intervention can prevent some of these consequences. And we know that stable, caring relationships are essential for these children's development. These are some of the goals that Nurse Family Partnership has achieved. These are different trials that they've done, and these are the outcomes that we now see on a national average. I won't read through all of them, but there's a large reduction that we've seen in preterm delivery. We've also seen a reduction in child arrest, an increase in moms' employment. So here in our community, we have the opportunity to touch 83 different families with the Nurse Family Partnership Program based on the funding that we receive. And the Nurse Family Partnership is based on 40 years now of evidence that has built all of this. As we saw on the previous slide, there's lots of good program outcomes. These are just some additional ones that have been known to have meaningful impacts. Besides what we've already mentioned, or what I've already mentioned, we know that ultimately we will raise the quality of our workforce and enhance the productivity of schools by investing in these early childhood services. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions about the contract or nurse-family partnership.
Are there questions?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-213-2019 with TARC to provide in-home nursing services to developmentally delayed infants and toddlers in the amount of $15,000 for a one-year period from July 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020, with funding from the federal Medicare or Medicaid match, private match dollars.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Before you today is a request to enter into a contract with TARC. This will provide home visitation services in our community to our developmentally delayed infants and toddlers. This is a service that we've provided for many years. We've now made this an annual contract and one that we hope we'll be able to ask to renew each year. The nurse that provides these services is integrated with a nurse-family partnership program and the funds used for that. I would like to take just a couple of minutes and talk about the services that we provide. I don't know that I presented on these before. So there's many different names for these services. Part C Early Intervention Services, it's also known as TARC. It's also known as Infant Toddler, Tiny K. Many different names here in our community, but they all refer to the same thing. This is a program in which KDHE provides the grants to local networks to be able to put together this comprehensive system. And here in our community, TARC is the one who provides these services for these infants and toddlers. And with this program, anyone can call if they have a question about their child's development, their growth, anything of that sort, and get an evaluation for their child. We have lots of different people that also make referrals into it. Pediatricians do, our WIC program does, home visitation. So there's never a wrong door to get a child into these services to make sure that they are growing and developing as they're supposed to. These are just a few of the services that I listed that they have available through them. They provide additional services as well. So we're on contract to help provide these nursing services. And the nursing services we provide may be for evaluations for the child in the event that mom or dad called in and have questions or concerns about their child. And then we're also a part of a case management plan for some of the children that have a need for nursing services that we would see on a routine basis. And then we also, in addition to those home visits, provide consultation for different, they have 4 different teams, and we provide consultation during the month for each one of those teams. And we might talk about 20 to 25 kids at each one of those team meetings. And she's available to give her expert opinion from a nursing standpoint. With that, I'd be happy to answer questions about the contract or more about these services.
Questions?
I move that we approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for department heads, any member of the public, Kellen Seitz, anyone to address the commission this morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. This is the new Learn and Play bus schedule from the Topeka Shawnee County Public Library. If no one has had an opportunity to visit this bus, I really encourage you to. It's a mobile preschool for everyone here in Shawnee County. I was very fortunate to get to be on the development team for this bus. But this is a brand new schedule that just rolled out starting this past Monday. And they have altered their schedule. And Thursday afternoons, they're now at the Hillcrest Community Center. And we're so excited that coincides with our WIC clinic that's over at Hillcrest also on that same day. So these families not only can receive their WIC services, but they can also step aboard the Learn and Play bus.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oakes from the Health Department. A couple things for you. Next Tuesday, we are going to be hosting a free orientation for licensed daycare providers. So folks have often wondered, would I be a good child care provider? This is your chance to come and find out if this is for you. We do know we've seen a pretty big decrease in the number of providers in our community. It's hard for parents to go to work if there's not quality childcare. So we're doing this as a community outreach to help people learn more about childcare and see if they're interested. There'll be some refreshments. This one is at the Hillcrest Community Center, once again, next Tuesday from 1 to 3:30. So we hope folks, if they have any interest, will come find out more about childcare. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you, this is our mosquito surveillance, and the green line is this year. And so you can see we've had a huge spike. That is because of the flood mosquitoes that we talked about, I think a week or two ago when we talked about the surveillance. These mosquitoes don't typically carry disease, but they are annoying, and they do bite. And so this particular spike is especially attributed to the Wakarusa area where we have a trap down there because of the flooding. So we still have dunks. So if people want dunks to put out in their ponds, any stagnant water, they are completely safe for all critters and creatures except mosquitoes. So they're really a good thing to use. We have them at the health department. The guys, the environmental health guys have them. So if you live out in the county and you'd like us to drop some by when we're out doing our rounds, we're happy to do that. Just call the office. So and we do post this on our website too, so if you're interested in following the mosquito surveillance, we've not seen any mosquitoes test positive for West Nile virus yet. So that is the good news. Thank you.
And we do have a need for more childcare providers in our community, don't we?
We absolutely do.
I thought, yeah.
We absolutely do.
I think the get-together is very timely.
We've talked about that a lot, and I could, next time we talk about childcare, I'll bring a map. We even have what I would call childcare deserts, parts of town that don't have really accessible childcare for folks, so they're having to drive quite a ways to access that childcare. So it's an issue here in Shawnee County.
Thank you, Linda.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Spectre Venue Management in the Kansas Expo Center. We have some very exciting things underway at the facility this week. Started some of our demolition and construction inside the facility, and that is really the true mark of the start of this project. So we're looking forward to that. Some of those pieces are going to be coming online around October and November of this year. So patrons coming to visit us at the facility will see all new upgraded improvements and renovations and seating opportunities for them as soon as this fall. So we're getting excited about that. And then we also, I'll tease it out here, we have some really exciting stuff to put in front of you next week. So we're looking forward to Thursday. So thank you, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you, Kellen.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste, 2 announcements. Yesterday, we completed our mill and inlay on Southeast 45th from Croco to Tecumseh Road. I don't know if you've driven the one on Southeast 29th that we completed a few weeks ago, but it turned out fantastic. Today, we hope to get the striping done, weather permitting, but these 2 projects, if you recall, were leftovers from last year. And then with their completion, now we hope to work on this year's projects, which are all on Topeka Boulevard. So, second announcement, Country Stampede. We have definitely postponed our Gary Ormsby Drive project. Unfortunately, we delayed it not 2 weeks, but we're going to delay the project 4 weeks. And the reason for that is our contractor partner could not work with us on the 2-week delay, which would have been a June 24th start. And the reason for that is one of their primary material suppliers could not accommodate the 2-week delay. So we're going to delay that project again by 4 weeks. It will start July 8th and will complete no later than August 9th. The schedule is becoming extremely important because school starts very soon after August 9th. So with that, any questions by chance?
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
I think that all the folks that live out by the Lake Shawnee with 45th and 29th Street, they're very appreciative of the mill and overlay. But outside of 29th Street construction, which is still ongoing, between California and Croco, do we have any other construction in that area that's going to be going on this summer?
No.
So for those folks that are getting ready for the 4th of July or looking at the fireworks at the lake, they should expect no other construction other than the 29th Street.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, let me preface, or let me give you a caution. After the holiday, we are going to work on those joints on Croco Road up there by the bridges over the interstate, which we inherited from KDOT. We are going to do some joint repairs, but other than that, we have no other work planned in the area.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the news media and the people, and I can report back to those people that live out by Lake Shawnee, the only construction between now and after the 4th of July, or up to 4th of July, is right during the 29th to Croco to California.
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Saw Phil writing away.
Yeah. And again, they are appreciative of the construction mill and overlay.
Right.
So-
It turned out great, thank you.
Yes.
Morning, Commissioners. Captain Acree, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. I'm getting pretty used to following on Kurt's heels, so kind of wanted to hold true to that tradition. Follow up on the Country Stampede. I just wanted to give a public appreciation and thank you to the contractors on Gary Ormsby 77th to postpone that. That helps us out a lot with the event security. Also, had our first planning meeting yesterday, so it sounds like the Highway Patrol, Kansas Highway Patrol, will be handling all the traffic-related duties, ingress, egress. We're going to partner with the Topeka Police Department, take care of the actual events on site, as well as the camping areas that are with that. So just an update for you. It sounds like all the plans are coming into place, and everything should go along pretty smoothly. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. Anyone else to address the commission this morning? Is there, Kevin?
Do you have, I see two people that have come in. I'd make sure that they understand this is administrative communication that anybody can address.
Okay.
Yes.
Come on up to the podium.
Please come up and identify yourself.
This is kind of a, we just kind of dropped in on you here as we're coming into the county. I'm Ken Wade with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Kansas City District, and I'm an outreach specialist for the Kansas City District. It's very important that we have good working relationships with all of our stakeholders, usually along the Missouri River. I work from Rulo, Nebraska to St. Louis, 500 miles of the Missouri River, and we are always out there communicating with our stakeholders. And in this sense, we do have some water coming through the system on the Kansas River. I actually live at Silver Lake, so this is a good time. My original plan was to just reach out to you folks, see if you had any questions, comments, concerns that I could take back to the district and take those to leadership. So it was just kind of a, we're here in the city, let's stop in and just see if the commissioners are available. I could meet with you after the meeting, but we just wanted to say we're here for you, and anything we can do to help. We always want to work on those relationships.
Very good. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Anyone else to address the commission this morning? Commissioner Cook.
Commissioner Rippon and I tomorrow are going to be doing an education session with Girls State, and so as Girls State comes, this is an annual event, as they learn about county government, whether it's the courts, the sheriff, they need parts of it, and so it's a vital important for leadership development within our state, and so look forward to it, and I look forward to having Commissioner Rippon join me. So, nothing else.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Well, I guess I'll have to take it solo.
I have been called out of town for a day, so I am unfortunately going to miss that one. But
Well, what other
spoke
news
too
do you
soon.
have?
I really don't have any other news.
Okay. Couple items I had. Number one, it's the 75th anniversary of D-Day, and my dad was served in the Navy in World War II, and I think about him a lot. And so I just wanted to salute the greatest generation of Americans that we've ever known. Secondly, we have the Kansas Registrar of Deeds seminar that's going on in Topeka. I was fortunate to be able to welcome them to our community yesterday morning. There's over 100 attendees, so it was a big deal, and I'm glad they were here. The other thing, I thought the meeting would be short, and I did have something that I wanted to read, and I'm just going to read it anyway. This is dedicated to Kurt and Jason Pete and Public Works everywhere. It's an article from the Wall Street Journal, and it says, "Complications abound on a $2.3 billion redo of 21 miles in Orlando." Orlando, Florida. The state dubbed it the I-4 Ultimate for its grand scope. For sure, it's more like the ultimate headache. A reconstruction of 21 miles of congested interstate highway through the heart of Orlando will build or rebuild 140 bridges, redesign 15 interchanges, move exits, and add new toll lanes in a $2.3 billion project to smooth traffic through one of the nation's fastest growing cities. The contractors must coordinate with 27 different utilities to find and move gas pipes, sewer lines, water mains, storm drains, electrical wires, and fiber optic cables. The region rests on porous limestone, prone to sinkholes that can defeat plans to drive deep pilings. Construction crews have to work in a tight highway corridor flanked by office towers, malls, and arenas, with little room to maneuver or to put their equipment. All the while, thousands of cars and trucks keep roaring through. The Orlando highway makeover has resulted in hundreds of damage claims from drivers and property owners, including some who were flooded when a retention pond burst. 4 workers have been killed on the project, an atypical toll, according to one analyst. The lead contractor from Sweden has said it doesn't plan to tackle a project of this kind as an investor in the United States again. So for us, it could always be worse. And I think of the people that served in World War II, and we are fortunate to live in the times I think that we do today. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need for an executive session, and we're officially adjourned. Thank you for attending.
Oh,